This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get Aussie headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHCAPE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgate.mediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perk, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here, the line fades to nothing at all.
This is a world of Capes and Lunatics.
And nothing is off limit.
Oh, yeah. It's that time again. Welcome back to the Capes and Lunatics, episode 146. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, we've got a packed house tonight on Get Vocal. Let's go around the clock. Starting clockwise, the Prince of New Jersey.
Oh, that's me, Charlie, the Professor S. Yeah, it's reversed in my image.
I was gonna say it probably looks different to everybody. Yeah. All right, Queen of the Armadillos in Florida.
Hey,
And coming to you straight from Ohio, one of the hosts of one of the best Supergirl podcasts, as picked by, who was that again?
Hold on, I forgot.
Oh, how dare you!
Because I'm also playing the role of Super Dad right now.
At underscore feed spot. I'm looking at it. At underscore feed spot selected Krypton Report as one of the top 10 Supergirl podcasts.
Cool.
Yeah, for real. So
very proud of you, Tyler.
nice.
Yes.
Thanks, Dad.
Yes. He has the inside track as his daughter is his Supergirl. Aww. Anyways.
All right. I did see a lot of news tonight, which I don't know, maybe C2E2 hasn't gotten in the full swing yet, but the big rumor that floating around, I don't know where this thing originated from. Supposedly, this rumor says Wolverine is going to be introduced in Captain Marvel 2, and you'll never guess who's in talks supposedly to play Wolverine.
Jaleel White?
No.
Then you were right.
Oh, that was your top pick? Okay.
No, it's just, I would never guess it, and that was my guess, and it was not who I guessed.
Let's set a fire under Lilith, maybe even Tyler. All right. Former DCEU star, supposedly in talks to play Wolverine in Captain Marvel 2, is Henry Cavill.
I know.
Oh.
I'm like, cool.
Stupid, but you can have them. We're done with them.
I'm like, whatever.
Have fun with that. Beat it.
The Brit.
Hi, guys.
Is that the guy who plays Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The British guy who played the American hero is now going to be Canada's assassin.
Hi,
I
should have gone with John Leguizamo.
I want accurate representation.
Wolverine is supposed to be 5'1".
Yeah.
Like 5'3", but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what people were complaining about, on Twitter. They're like, can you finally give us a Wolverine that's under 6 foot? It's like, come on.
You know, I mean,
hey, go with the 1980s plan. Make it Danny DeVito.
Joe Pesci.
Well, I mean, hey,
that'd be a good old man Logan, Joe Pesci.
Well, let's think. Hey, we're thinking this is Marvel. They have money. They can cast a six. I mean, I just got done rewatching all the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies, so they can cast somebody who's 6 foot tall and shrink them down. Because every one of those actors that played hobbits in The Hobbit were over 6 feet tall.
Don't even get me started on that, man. Stealing work from hard-working dwarvish actors. Hi, guys. Hi.
Hi, Stayla.
Hey, Tyler. That's your daddy? Oh, wow.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
But, yeah, I mean, okay. I don't know why you would introduce Wolverine and Captain Marvel, but sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm not.
Everybody knows it's supposed to be Black Panther.
My thing with
That's
casting.
where we introduce Storm.
It's me.
Oh,
My-
what they're gonna do? Oh, is that what they're gonna do? They're gonna introduce like different X-Men in different movies and then combine them in an X-Men movie eventually.
I mean, that's a concept. It'll be delightful, whatever they decide, I'm sure.
Well, I think maybe Wolverine, because I think in the comics he's like supposedly, retcon. He was like he had worked with Carol Danvers during her military days.
Well, he actually worked with everyone. He
introduced Rogue in Captain Marvel. Is it just me? Is it just
Maybe
me?
they'll
Definitely be in Captain Marvel. That, or they're saving that when they have to soft reboot Captain Marvel.
or they are thinking maybe they are going to do a maybe they're having Wolverine in there because they're going to have a Mystique and Rogue subplot.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe Rogue's in there, but like at the end of the movie, with like your Skrull revelation, maybe the Wolverine. Cavill's gonna play Wolverine in X-Men, but the Wolverine we get in Captain Marvel is when he's revealed to be Mystique.
He doesn't look like a Wolverine to me. I don't know.
They probably wanted someone like Jackman-esque, maybe.
I want somebody. I want to see the Wolverine from like the '90s cartoon because, like, look, Wolverine is not a lovable guy. Okay, my thing was the X-Men movies made Wolverine the main focus, and they got Hugh Jackman, and everybody loves Hugh Jackman. Everyone says they like Wolverine, but they really like Hugh Jackman. So let's see an actual Wolverine character that's more like actually Wolverine.
Actually, you know who would actually be Wolverine is Ron Perlman. He's short.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been back in the day.
Well, he can dye his hair
comics, though. Just do pull like they did with Hugh Jackman. Go find an unknown, someone they can pay on the cheap. They can sign for 10 years.
Let's typecast. Let's get a relatively unknown short Canadian actor.
Yeah, there's plenty of them floating around.
Oh, dang it!
Oh, keeping him out, I guess. Then.
Yeah, I was thinking one of the guys from the Kids.
Just go find some guy who nobody's seen.
Paul was like a million years ago.
Yes, they're all still alive. They're still working on a regular basis. They do their thing.
What about Lilith's boyfriend Joe? He's tall too, isn't he? But Joe Manganiello.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's.
You shut your mouth. He's unavailable.
Why? Oh, like that Deathstroke thing's gonna happen. Give a Pittsburgh boy a big.
He's unavailable.
Give him something successful, like a Marvel movie. Come on.
Yes. I don't know.
Bagara. He's had enough success. I need my Magic Mike. Magic Mike becomes out. Sorry, guys. Them are the rules.
Magic Mike.
Yeah, but I'm thinking back to him as Flash Thompson.
I wouldn't want to fight me.
He does have a real Wolverine vibe there, so I actually think that's not the worst thought casting wise.
My summer child.
Oh, please.
My thing is,
Lilith, please.
We're gonna want to hire somebody they can get mileage out of.
Yeah.
So, especially with this
super
character,
young.
So it's a lot easier to make somebody look a little older than it is making them look younger. Plus, you hire somebody who's in.
Guys, I got it. Daniel Radcliffe, because he's.
Oh, if you both Daniel Radcliffe.
Elijah Wood. I'm just gonna throw out people.
The other guy that gets confused with Tobey Maguire.
Daniel Radcliffe has made the point that he is not looking to get into another franchise right now. That he
Daniel Radcliffe
more than enough money from writing a book.
Yeah, but has he
trust me.
Have he encountered Disney money yet?
Well, but the thing is, not everybody lives off of greed. Not everybody has habits and ex-wives to support. Daniel Radcliffe, as far as I know, has lived a relatively.
Yeah, but 10 years as a Wolverine, and he can go off and do whatever he wants.
That's what he is right now.
Years. Yeah, exactly. He's 10 years as a Harry Potter. What? I'm just saying, not everybody.
Wagon. That's my bandwagon.
No, I mean, I think it'd make a great Wolverine. I just don't know if he's going to want to be a Wolverine. That's the only thing. I thought it'd make a great Moon Knight, but, he apparently did not think that. And I will say this for Daniel Radcliffe. He's got the eyebrows. He is clearly a very hirsute gentleman.
And
he tries to hide it, but he is definitely a hirsute gentleman. So
I'm just going to throw this out here.
Just
because it popped in my head.
Jack Russell.
I'm going to say Taron Egerton. How you say his last name? Yeah.
No.
Wolverine?
No!
I don't know. He's got too much of like a baby face, I think.
It's Hollywood. You grow a beard, throw on some.
Beard makes men look manlier. It's fine. Give him a beard.
Put on some muscle.
I need it bigger.
That wasn't actually Hugh Jackman's actual hair, That was all wigs.
It was a struggle wig, definitely, for at least.
I'm about to say, depends on the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! Speaking of X-Men, not to sidetrack us too far, I'm so proud of my boy, my Luca. The other night, I was getting him out of the bathtub. X-Men 3 was starting, so I shut it off after a couple minutes. But at the beginning scene, you get Xavier and Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
Luca points right at the screen and goes, "Look, that guy looks like Picard."
He does look a lot like Picard.
That's right. That's the USA backer.
Yeah. Yeah. So, who knows who they're going to cast? I mean, this could be Army Hammer. He's been just sitting up there with a box of chocolates and a bouquet of flowers.
All as a community. Forget Army Hammer exists.
But he just really wants a superhero.
Please.
Did
Army Hammer.
Did Charlie Hester just call Army Hammer Forrest Gump?
He just really wants a super. No,
he's that guy that they.
Charlie really hates me too. I don't know why.
A box of chocolates and a bouquet of flowers, and you're just waiting to meet your best girl and saying, "Hi, Disney, would you like to hire me to be a superheroic person?"
Well, Disney tried to hire him for something, and it failed. So they were like, "Go away, Army."
Oh, you mean Lone Ranger? Well, they hired him for Lone Ranger, yes.
Yeah.
That of course, the fact that they
that movie we don't.
And they made that French guy Tonto,
It's like in the.
Yeah.
Whatever, John Mars. It's in that pile.
Oh, John Carter.
Yeah.
Yep, Taylor Kittich. Those are two guys that
was Army Hammer. So.
They've tried to make happen that just never caught on.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Meanwhile, Vin Diesel about to do his 10th Fast and Furious.
Yeah, Vin Diesel's let's just
it's the only franchise Universal has. Sorry, Dark Universe.
They're like, hey, you want to drive on the moon?
If you put Vin Diesel in a wig, that could be a Wolverine.
He's too old.
But he's already Groot.
Yeah, well, but not on screen. You also wanted to play Black Bolt. He said that'd be perfect. I can have one character where it's my face and not my voice, and one character there it's my voice and not my face.
And again, the sidetrack.
Are you done?
Speaking of Black Bolt, Anson Mount is actually good on Star Trek Discovery as Captain Pike.
He's one of those guys that he got. Okay. He's a good actor.
So it wasn't him; it was the material.
Oh yeah, it was the material. It was the directing. It was all the background stuff. Sometimes
I'm not going to say. Let's put it this way: maybe he's a good actor in other roles. He was not a good actor in that role.
Nobody was a good actor in that role. That whole show
make stupid faces,
there are times when you can have a very bad script and a good actor will show through it. Christopher Walken, as an example.
In what?
In anything he's ever done. He's done some of the worst movies ever made. But you watch him and you go, you know what? He actually is not bad in it.
Scenery. Choose some scenery. That man should be 500 pounds.
Yeah, well, scenery. And I believe it was Christopher Lee. That's what I was reading a quote from him. It was like, yeah, you do a lot of bad films, but you don't approach. You still have to act like you're doing. You still have to do your job right, even if it's a bad film. So, he's played Dracula and Doctor Who.
Hey, a great performance can elevate even the most horrible of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't want to call out anybody.
I assumed you were about to make a reference to Blitzkrieg.
No.
For me, I'm trying to take the bait.
Yes. Anyway, but
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
If he's good, that's great for him. Yeah, he just he was very gesticulatory, which I get why he wanted to do that, but it's like you have to emote without actually making movements for that. That's the thing. It's a very hard role. I'm not going to say that Black Bolt's not a hard role. So, I'm just going to say he utterly failed at it. But, it's not like they cast me for the job. So.
Oh, what? Oh, and not to get too personal, but I see on Facebook, Lilith Hellfire's deciding maybe she should lay off at DC so she can get a job there.
Well, I mean,
sucks.
You need to get a job as a writer. Can't you just
How would that be happening? You don't understand.
Okay. And to be fair,
the powerhouses of DC Comics, Bendis and Lilith.
They may not be hiring, because they may be in a restructuring.
Always hiring
attitude. Right?
Secretly, they're always hiring. Trust me. I don't mean like in the editorial room or anything.
They've been
on the
level 5 years. Shop. That's all I'm saying.
They're always hiring. They're always hiring in the PR department, Charlie. Trust me on that.
Okay, well then.
They need something in that PR thing. They need a.
No, their PR is usually pretty good. They actually sell their products very well. One of the biggest problems is that
I want to see a little seller soul.
As they say, nothing kills a bad product faster than good advertising. Anyway.
So Tyler, so you'd be fine with Cavill as Wolverine?
Man, yeah, sure. Man's gotta have a career. I'm like, I'm at that point now with so much stuff where I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, I guess like from my perspective, it's like is anyone really pounding the door down for a new Wolverine?
I think they are.
My thing is, I
mean, Wolverine's not even that interesting in the comics anymore.
I think they would introduce the whole X-Men thing, and I think they think the best way to do that is
X-Men merch just.
But my thing is,
who's the most popular, who's the most well-known, recognized X-Men, especially the people who maybe don't read the comics. Oh, hey, Wolverine.
And the thing is, they don't even know the character. They just know Hugh Jackman's version.
Exactly.
And Hugh Jackman, like I said, as much as I love Hugh Jackman, he's not really Wolverine. Like he's a virgin. Even in the movie that's supposed to be like the whole hype was, oh, we'll see the animal of Wolverine. We'll see what he's really. That was the tamest movie he did.
No.
Which one was that? Was that the Wolverine Origins?
Yeah, the Origins. Because the whole thing was supposed to be talking about being the animal and how we were supposed to see him before and how he was so, vile. And then they're like, nah, no, because nobody's gonna like you.
Well, to be fair, I mean, they should have had him discovered by Alpha Flight.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. We took care of that movie at the end of Deadpool 2. Did you not pay attention?
Oh, I know. It got retconned. Mm-hmm. It was cool. That was one of the best scenes of Deadpool 2.
He did so many bullets in that thing.
All right, hold on. Yeah. I gotta go. My kid's at the door doing something, and Sayla's got to go to bed.
Yeah, you gotta watch those things.
All right, I'll be back. See you guys.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to these casting rumors,
Yes, Lilith?
does Al Pacino comics. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Wait, what?
Wait,
Pacino.
what? Al Pacino something?
Al Pacino comic? What? Armadillo is.
Oh, yeah. Just anyway. Al Pacino liked
It
something.
needs to be on
I think.
camera so
Yeah.
we can do like charades. First word.
Yes, sounds like Al Pacino.
Sounds like
yes.
Al Pacino.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to casting, you know, I don't think first of all, I don't think casting rumors mean anything.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that, you know, okay, you know, it's like what was it, Karinsky as Reed Richards. Nobody wants that. The only one who talks about it is Karinsky, or Karansky,
Well,
whatever.
do you
his
think?
name is.
I mean, they were saying Cavill's in talks to play Wolverine. So is it like 50 guys are in talks to play Wolverine, and Cavill's maybe like the most famous one, or like the most controversial, just because it's like, oh, he was Superman, 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like literally the only reason to do that is to say, "Oh, we took your Superman," and it was like, but like Lilith said, it's like, "Oh no, don't take our Superman, please."
I know what.
Oh, you know what, Ben Affleck? Do you? Because he's ours.
I'm gonna say, oh no, please don't take Affleck. No.
Yeah, Oh, you took Jared Leto from us. Whatever we do.
Wait, what?
But
what? Please, I beg you, don't take Momoa. Don't take Momoa.
But it's
take her. You can have her for sure.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you want to see something like that, if you're going to see someone go from like I would expect you would see someone from one of the popular DC TV shows, because that's how they would do it. They would take someone who is a known quantity.
You shut your mouth.
As Wolverine.
Take him.
He can't even.
No, they don't want.
Do a decent
Marvel doesn't want any of your secondhand DC.
He can't even do a decent Flash. You want him to be Wolverine? Are you smoking crack? Seriously?
Yeah.
Dude, X-Men in the Disney universe, I have no hope for. I don't know. This is Miller. I saw
Well, like Charlie was saying, CW actors. I mean, Stephen Amell's not doing anything right now, is he? Yeah, that's what you said, Stephen Amell, though.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like
getting fat. He is not interested in putting on a six-pack. Just let y'all know. He wants to eat chocolate and live his life with his daughter. I mean, let him breathe. Let him put on some sweatpants.
And that's the thing, unless you're, it's a very hard gig, the whole being a superhero thing. And, and like if you're desperate for, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can get him back into shape in 5 minutes because that man needs a job. Schwarzenegger, he always needs a job. You'll pay him.
Is he allowed to do anything but Terminator?
He's allowed to do Conan.
Conversation.
He is begging to do Conan, man. He wants man Conan.
Are we sure?
Expendables 12.
I don't know.
He would get him and Grace Jones back together. And is she still alive, Grace Jones? I think so. And and
Brigitte. Second one?
No. Grace Jones was also in one. No, Brigitte Nielsen. I mean, she's alive, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Well, yeah.
Are we sure? I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm just saying. I think Grace Jones maybe is more up for a sword and sorcery film at the moment. That's just my guess. I don't know.
Grace Jones is still alive.
Yeah, I thought so.
At 71
she's still alive. She was in a Conan film, or was she in the Red Sonja film? I forget if she was in Red Sonja or was she in... I thought she was in Conan...
Conan the Destroyer.
Oh, Conan
the second one, I thought.
I know she was Yeah. She fights set. So yeah, I mean, I think get Conan or get Arnold. Get him the loincloth, have him play Conan the King. And the last adventure of Conan the King. Marvel. I mean, Disney is giving them a nice story arc to explore with King Conan, and there's some stories to tell there, and I think that's worth some money. But yeah, I mean, I'm not in any rush to see a new Wolverine. There's so many other. I mean, I would really love if they'd come up with a good Cyclops.
That's what I said. First, but that's what I said. I'm just like, first movie, let's do the original 5 X-Men. So then when you do like the second movie or something, and you bring in Wolverine and Storm and everything, it has like a bigger impact. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, it's like, hey, you want to think outside the box? Let's not go with 5 white kids. Let's get international here.
Yeah. Well, whatever you do, it'll be interesting. But, I mean, there's also the option that they never actually even have the X-Men. They just introduce all of the mutants, And you never actually get to an X-Men universe kind of concept.
Or they're all on their own island.
Yeah. Although I gotta say, I loved the.
This was all about the whole time.
Now, you know what? I think once Disney reveals their whole X-Men plan, that island thing's getting thrown away.
They're gonna take the island, or maybe the island will get sick of everyone crawling all over it.
Lost.
I mean, you think because the island's a person, and at a certain point, it's like, do you guys have to do that on me? I mean, that's kind of put your fluid somewhere else kind of thing,
Whoa.
Well, hey, there's all kinds of fluids that everyone has to deal with on an island, and at a certain point, I think that's not even the good ones, Philip. That at a certain point, the island's gonna be like, why am I letting all you people live on me? You all are gross, And I think Krakoa may say, not feeling this.
That's true. What I have a feeling, just like they're all clones. Eventually when they want to get rid of this whole thing, they're going to reveal, all the X-Men are in stasis. These are all clones that have been running around. That's why Kitty Pryde can't get on the island, because they couldn't clone her.
That's an interesting theory. She's like the one real X-Men left, because all the other ones have been. Because
their DNA is so phased and stuff. Yeah, you can clone her or whatever.
Yeah, you couldn't get her phased DNA because. Anyway, yeah. Who knows? Who knows what they're gonna do? All we know is a lot of people are saying they're not gonna do stuff. So, the girl from Brooklyn Nine-Nine says she's not in talks to play She-Hulk. Daniel Radcliffe says he's not going to be Moon Knight.
Well, no, he said it would have. What did you say last week? He said it would have to be good for him to do it. And then you said there's your catch-22. If he does it, he'll be like, see it, it's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, what he said was, I'm not in talks to do it, and if I were to ever get into another franchise, and basically what he says, I don't really want to do another franchise. Yeah. It would have to be really, really good, and maybe they'll write up an entire series of Moon Knight and send it to him, and he'll say, okay, this is really good. But more likely than not, why
not interested in obscure either, though. That's what his indie projects are for. Yes, if he's gonna do a real movie, I could see. We can do that. That's what I'm saying. Not Moon Knight, because that's a little thing.
Sorry, Ray.
Yeah. Yeah. But who knows if they offered him Wolverine? Maybe he'd say, what? That's something we can do. But
looks like you're going to say Lil Hellfire's Quasar is obscure. Come on.
A little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, Yeah. So yeah, do you guys want to talk comic books
Yeah,
at all?
I was gonna say, let's talk some comics.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to mention it. We're talking about
one more.
Wolverine. Okay. Yes.
Yes, Miss Hellfire.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna. What I thought was just my favorite joke in a comic book I read was from the Ghost Rider book where Punisher asks Wolverine if says, "Aren't you supposed to be like having orgies on your island right now?" Which I thought was a fun reference to the throuple. Which I took that as a reference to the throuple.
Even the healing factor needs a break, bub.
But yeah, but that I thought was fun.
Yes, love.
This is for so I'm reading through Angel number 9 and just
oh no, who showed up? Kate. Oh, your favorite. Oh.
Yeah. They brought her back. No, but she was actually.
Why would you torture Lilith like this, Brian Edward Hill?
Oh.
Yeah, I need to catch up.
He has heard our Angel podcast and did this specifically to annoy me, but it's okay.
What about our
now
Angel
we can talk
podcast?
comics.
I will just say, he is a friend. He is a friend of the show, so
That's true. All right, let's get some comics.
Phil's Comics Corner.
Oh, do you want to talk Amazing Spider-Man?
Okay. All right.
Where we continued on with the podcast episode?
Amazing Spider-Man number 40. Yes.
Yes.
With Chance, not the rapper.
I don't really trying. Like, why was he trying to get? I did not understand because, like, at first he's supposed to get the web shooter, and then no, he doesn't really want it. I really didn't. I didn't understand was there a side bet that we don't know about? Like, does the foreigner now own the casino?
Yeah, I was a little confused there too, but I think it's like they made like. Well, the foreigner kind of like pressured him into the bet because he like did it in public, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what's that, Chance? Yeah, I'll bet with you. Yeah." So I think Chance was like, "I don't need this," and I think he saw what the foreigner was going to do, trying to become co-owner of that
muscle on his territory kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's just, yeah. I mean, I liked how it ended with now Peter Parker, instead of taking pictures of himself, is going to be interviewing himself on a podcast.
Isn't that what you do on Super Connectivity?
No, I talked to the great Phil me.
That's right. But no, I just love that. When Peter's telling Nora, or he's asking Nora, he's like, "You want me to take pictures of Spider-Man?" She's like, "No." She's like, "I could get way better pictures than you ever took from like any 12-year-old with an iPhone."
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true. It's just it's that portrait function. It just puts the right filter on it.
That's what I didn't get, because did she come out and say Peter is getting his own podcast, or did she want both Peter and Spider-Man on Jameson's podcast?
No, I got the feeling that she wants to launch a Spider-cast, if you will. And
great mind think
an ultimate Spider-cast in which Spider-Man talks to Peter. That Peter is going to essentially get Spider-Man to be in the podcast. And then, of course, we see who's behind it all.
The Chameleon.
The Chameleon. Why do they let him wear the mask in the prison cell?
Maybe it's actually...
I mean, it just seems like...
I want to break his illusion, his immersion. I don't know.
It just seems like it's just weird. Like,
reference.
I mean, unless he's like Baron Zemo.
Is that like a mask again? Because I know certain versions it's a mask, and then I know like in the 90s he actually like had like his face altered where it was just like, he was almost like Clayface. So I don't know if they're going back to that, maybe.
I don't know. Hey, is Baron Zemo dead?
I didn't read the issue, but I know he I know he was fighting with the Punisher, so I'm assuming, the Punisher.
So he's presumed dead.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I didn't read the actual issue where he supposedly did it, but yeah.
Zemos are never more dangerous.
You accused Frank Castle being bad at his job, so he had to pop a big name, okay?
Except apparently it was off camera, so, and everyone just thinks because I was reading the Falcon Winter Soldier.
How dare you, Charlie Esther? When does Marvel ever resurrect big name characters, especially when they're going to be appearing in a TV show soon?
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, and they even mentioned it in the Winter Soldier. And it's a protege and a rival of Zemos that we're going after.
Oh, yeah. Who's running Hydra? Yeah, a protege of Zemos and some other guy, some high rank. It's like Tony Stark's father. It's like, yeah, some guy, some Hydra guy is fighting another Hydra guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, apparently, and then now, of course, we know that Tony Stark's father is, in fact, Mephisto the whole time. Ooh.
Oh, my Lord, the whole Avengers thing. What?
He's actually Peter Parker's cousin.
Oh, good Lord. I didn't get that. I see. Why see people say
no? If he's Uncle Ben's son, if Tony Stark is Uncle Ben's son, then he would be Peter's cousin.
Why are people saying his father's Mephisto? I thought his father was like working for Mephisto, or he was like
Well, Mephisto basically says that when you were adopted, that was the deal his father made was that he would raise you, my earthbound protege, because don't got enough of those laying around.
And if Howard Stark's running around in hell, then does that mean Arno brought back Well, I guess, yeah, artificial.
Yeah, Arno made clones. He made clones of people. You don't come back when you're a clone. They make a new body that has your memories.
And again, we were talking about continuity. It's like, meanwhile, Tony Stark is Iron Man over in Avengers. Meanwhile, Arno is Iron Man in 2020 over in that book.
Yeah, and maybe it's a different universe. Maybe they just haven't really told us this yet, but that Marvel universe has been fractured, and there's like actually 4 different parallel Marvel universes going on right now.
Maybe they're all demons, or because in Ghost Rider #5, Mephisto says, lower demons sometimes use my image, image and name.
Well, all the other Mephistos running around. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. As he's talking about, Lilith's big plans for hell. What?
Yeah, but that almost
he's evil.
He's the McDonald's of evil.
Honestly, to me, that just really strikes me as very Doom body. Oh, that wasn't really me. That was just a Doom bot.
Hey, it's all magical. I mean, Mephisto, and whether it's against his will or it's his plan. I mean, Mephisto can probably make demons look like him.
Yeah, and and to be fair, I mean, I think that there's probably a real probability that he's. Well, first off, again,
Charlie, it's easier than actually planning continuity out for months at a time.
Yeah. Well, except that Mephisto's an esoteric concept. It's like he's not really a big red guy in pajamas. He's actually just a thought. He's the essence of the darkness of the human soul. He's not in your thing. Although I loved what he says, to Howard at the end there, of Avengers, where he almost comes off like, oh, who is the Powerpuff Girls nemesis? Was it him? Yeah, him.
Him.
Just this elaborate plan. Oh, but I've sown seeds of doubt, and that'll ripple across to all the Tony Starks across all. And apparently we're gonna have to have an army of the army, and I like that it's the army of Tony Starks, not the army of Iron Men. But so they're gonna do like, we need all the Tony Starks from all the other universes to come together.
Man, already. Come on.
Across the universe. Across the Starkiverse.
So, I mean, are we going to get something big with Mephisto here? I mean, he's already messed with Spider-Man, multiple Spider-Men. He's messing with Tony Stark now. I mean, we're getting a Daredevil One More Day coming up soon.
Yeah. He's, Otto will save them all. With his army of undead Ottos from the pits of hell. For all the Ottos back, because every clone had a soul.
Take a drink, people.
Let's take a drink. Yeah, I mean, what I liked about
what?
How rude and in character, she said, I believe. But what I liked about this was just, and this is one of these things where, characters will take on a different persona depending on who they're talking to. And as an example, I felt that the Mephisto in this one was very different. The Mephisto that we see in Ghost Rider is for almost Loki-esque kind of, well, I don't know what you're talking about kind of Mephisto compared to the Mephisto we're getting over here in Avengers, where it's almost like, yes, I have my manipulations. I will get Tony Stark to, sow doubt in his soul because.
And I mean, it's like, and I know it's different writers, but do you think like he's doing that on purpose though too? Because it's like depending who he deals with, like Johnny Blaze, he's like, it's like, oh yeah, Johnny, okay, you're in charge. Okay, don't hurt me. Trying to lull him into a false sense of security. But meanwhile, Tony Stark, it's like, ha ha, it's going to drive Tony Stark crazy when he goes, ha ha, I know something you don't know.
Well, the reality is I think that there's an aspect of it where, again, because Mephisto isn't a person, because he is an esoteric concept, he, in the same way that Galactus appears as you envision him, I think that a guy like Mephisto appears as you envision him. And I think that on a real level, it's one of these questions like, you never wonder how that affects the being. Like, for example, when Squirrel Girl just has to sit down and talk with Galactus, he's all chill. How much of that is just because that's how Squirrel Girl perceives him, and so that's how he becomes. And I think the same way that's how Mephisto gets. It's like when someone perceives him a certain way, he becomes that.
Charlie Esser, you want to know where all these esoteric figures get their physical forms? Check out Quantum Zone episode 104. There's a dimension of manifestations where these beings go and they get like physical bodies.
What about our Quasar?
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in another book actually. They recently brought that up. I forget what book that was, but there was another book where they recently went to the place where you go to get your physical form as a esoteric being.
Yeah,
get it buy off the rack. That's what I say. One size fits most. That's why they always wear those weird pajamas, because it's like it's onesies, like Mephisto and Nightmare. Just different outfit of green pajamas. So green or red pajamas
on it to make it bigger.
Yes, maybe get some quantum tickle.
Whoa!
Tentacles.
There we go. Anyways, what else is there?
Lilith, did you read anything good from DC?
No. Kind of importantly, I'm out on Red Hood and the Outlaws. I'm done. I can't.
Oh, really? Really?
Officially off the pull list.
Oh,
that's harsh.
43. Oh, why? Just because it's like too much of like those like the villains he was teaching or whatever.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, did you?
This week, what?
Did you read Constantine?
Tristan.
John Constantine Hellblazer.
Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, oh, what's up with this bearded hipster?
Yeah, not my Constantine right now. I don't know what's going on.
And what was that whole thing with him? Like, oh, he was trying to dress like he originally dressed, in those early Swamp Thing issues.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Justice League Dark there. This was a weird issue. apparently all the parliaments, the Parliament of the Red and the Green and the Rot and everything else are fighting, and like they have people growing mushrooms all over themselves in LA and exploding to spread mushroom spores around. And Animal Man, who I guess is supposed to be the guardian of the Red, you know, he's
what are these lantern cores? Green, red.
Apparently, yeah. But of course he's been infected by the mushrooms too, though they don't know it yet because, you know, get bit by his and basically, you know, Nobu says they have to reconvene the original parliaments to give them shape and form, and you know they got to get the Pharaonic Man to help out. But then they reveal that the Pharaonic Man is working with somebody. We don't know who, but they are some kind of black slimy stuff.
Oh.
Well, what's interesting is because I saw that and I said, "Oh yeah, wasn't the Swamp Thing turned into black slimy stuff the last we saw?" So I don't know. Is that Swamp Thing? I saw the new Swamp Thing came out this week, and it has Zatanna in it, so I don't know what's going on with that. So I didn't pick it up because I was afraid it was going to have spoilers for this. But
what issue of Justice League Dark is that?
Issue 20.
Oh.
20.
It's been around for 20 issues so far. Yep.
Wow, and not a reboot. Wow.
No, well, you know, they're going
20 more months.
Yeah, this was not my favorite book. It just seemed very, you know, I don't know, for some reason all the books seemed very out of continuity lately, and like, I couldn't like follow. Wait, when does this happen from what we saw in the last issue and things like that?
Oh yeah, things are definitely in flux, especially you know in the era of you know who.
Yeah, I hope we're not doing 5G. I really.
Yeah. Well, like, what was that rumor that AT&T is going to just shut down DC Comics if 5G does poorly?
I think that was we got this covered article. So I don't think that's.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah, and also I just can't imagine how you can shut down an entire publishing company.
Yeah,
like that. You know, it's like they actually have to buy the comment. They have to buy the paper ahead of time. You know, that's a big loss.
That's right. No, yeah, I think that was just clickbait. But I was just like, you know, I wonder what kind of reception I'm going to get on these 5G books.
Yeah, well, you know. Oh, reception on the 5G. Yeah, because I didn't even actually I thought that was like a whole because when I read that I said, oh, so if AT&T loses money on 5G conversion, basically they're going to say, you know what, we can't afford to run a comic book company anymore. Just cut that. Just cut that stuff. Wow, that's an interesting choice to make.
Oh no, they're going to give the books away. They're going to be like, hey, when someone goes into the AT&T store to get a phone, they're going to be like, here. Have a 5G comic.
Well, I mean, honestly, I could see them selling it off, you know. Just saying, you know what, do we really need this? Do we really need these superheroes? Are they really that valuable to us? Yeah.
Well, I'll buy Wonder Woman for $8.
Well, she's turning a profit. Well, at least the movies are, you know.
Wonder Woman 1984.
That's the problem.
I just want the comic book. They can keep the movie.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I know all nerds get on their podcast. I know all nerds get on their podcast.
Well, you might see that. I'll be honest with you. You might actually see them outsource. I mean, if things at DC are as bad as people say, as bad as Lilith says, I could totally see AT&T saying, you know what? Who would like to write the DC universe? IDW, Ooh. Make us an offer. You know, and just like, you know, we'll still own all the rights, but if you want to start writing Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman, you know what? You pay us a nice licensing fee. You take on the risk. You know, sort of like when Marvel sold Spider-Man to Sony. It's like, you know, they got their kickback on it. If they made a profit, great. If Spider-Man lost money, didn't cost Marvel anything. So, you know, it's I could see AT&T making that kind of a choice on something like if things.
I know
are as bad
all
as
the
Lilith
nerds get on their
says they are.
podcast and say, "Oh, I should be writing this book or this book," but I mean, DC. I mean, you could have way worse picks for your Wonder Woman book than Miss Lilith Hellfire.
No, I mean, I'm
That's
sure
right.
she'd write good stories. Anyway.
All right. So what?
So Spider-Ham, are you saving that for super connectivity or?
Oh, no, we can talk Spider-Ham. Did anyone read Spider-Ham aside from me? I got 3 books here that I bought with my own money aside from that, which is Spider-Ham, Avengers Wasteland, which I really enjoyed, and of course 4X.
Instead of 5G, 4X.
4X. Well, that's what it's called. X-Men
Lil,
plus Fantastic Four.
I found that. Yeah, I did. Kind of.
You found it what?
Favorite team up, but it was interesting.
Oh, interesting. I enjoyed it. Although obviously, you know, the whole thing with Reed making it so that his son couldn't walk through the doorway or be and really you can make the argument, no, I didn't want you to be taken through the doorway. If you really want to walk through the doorway, we can figure something out, but honestly, I don't want you going there because they're all crazy.
Yeah.
Because they are crazy. Because it is a cult. Well, they are all evil. Literally, we know they are all clones. Because we know, oh yeah, no, we've been cloning them. We've got the memories backed up on digital tape. Well, no, it's held in. I don't even know what it's held in, but it's just clearly like, yeah. You know what? That sounds like digital tape. I mean, that sounds like what Arnim Zola does. Like, I'll clone you.
It's 2020, Charlie. It's the mutant cloud, Cerebro.
No. I mean, yeah, they may be using psychic power. They might be using psychic powers to imprint the clone brain, but it's still just, a clone brain, and it's not the person anymore. It's a different person. And, it's like, whether you're using a quantum tunneling or a deconstructing teleporter, the difference is huge. If you're using a deconstructing teleporter, you're killing that person and then making something that looks like them somewhere else. So that's the thing.
Oh, yeah, the thing was good. Yeah.
What
about Doom has his own island of mutants?
Well, he has his own island, and he's decided to let his
because he's rich, and that's what rich people do.
Yeah,
And he has his own. And he has his own Doom Sentinels.
Yeah, big reveal.
Yeah.
Oh no, he has Doom Sentinels. Because he's Doom. And obviously, he wasn't a good guy. Valeria, I know you think he's a nice guy. You are wrong.
It's like
he's a sweet summer child. Leave her be.
And he just wants to anger the mutants because it's like you can make giant looking Doom bots, but he had to make them look like Sentinels though too. It's just like
because he's using Sentinels. They're going to hunt down mutants. He's preparing for the war with the mutants. And it's not that he wants to go to war with the mutants. He just knows in time mutants are going to come for him because they're going to want his mutants. And he's got his mutants. Thank you very much. They're my mutants. You can't have them. They're citizens of Latveria. So, yeah. Anyway, who knows what's going on with Latveria because over in the Doom books, that got blown up. So, there's something going on at Marvel. I'm not quite sure what it is. But maybe the answers lie with Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, and his leaping between dimensions. And apparently, in that one, whatever's going on, it has to do with Kangaroo, the Conqueror. Although we get that split reveal suggesting that in another universe at the same time, people are confronting Kang. And it seems to be that Kang, the Conqueror, is the one who is destroying the anthropomorphic universe of Spider-Ham. Because we do see, he is making the statement that, when they get to their world and he runs into Kangaroo the Conqueror, he says, "This is our world. This is just what was left of it once you left," and all this kind of stuff. So this is what, after Kang the Conqueror destroyed their universe, their world. So it's interesting. It's also very cool because you have Spider-Ham going from dimension to dimension. It's issue 3.
Okay.
And each dimension he goes into, he takes on the cartoon qualities of that dimension. So in when he goes to the 40s, he's like a spaghetti animation style. And he can stretch really far, which is kind of cool, which is its own superpower. And then this is, it's fun. They go to what is apparently a Dark Knight Rises universe, and he turns into basically the pig version of the Dark Knight. And you actually get a good image of it here when he goes to the Spider-Verse version of the serialized comic strip. And that's fun. And yeah, I enjoy the Spider-Ham. I did put it to my pull list this week because prior to this, it really wasn't.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, they're really getting their money's worth out of Spider-Man. I mean, this coming week, I guess there's another Spider-Man noir series coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, well, Nick Cage really rocked the character in the movies. So
I like that.
Oh, when we talked to X-Men Fantastic Four, we didn't talk about Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards is such a BA. Well, yeah, I mean, he's doing not much in these books.
Well, he's basically the MacGuffin. It's
yeah,
the mutants want him.
But again, like I said, I don't think, I think his issues with his powers, much like his Uncle Ben's issues with his powers, are all psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Reed knows this, and I think Franklin knows it deep down too. Valeria doesn't, because I think Valeria doesn't understand how that psychic stuff works. Although I gotta say, one of my favorite things in this was Sue Storm basically ripping the mutants a new one about, so my son, the X-Men, the mutants, because they're not just the X-Men now, they're all but the Krakoans, my son can go to your island, but my genius daughter can't.
Yeah.
Because you think you're better than her? You think you're better than us?
I never got that, because it's like, if Franklin's a mutant, wouldn't Valeria technically be a mutant, but it's just her intellect is her mutant power?
No, because her intellect is the genetic nature of her father.
Yeah, but it's like off the scale. I mean, she was talking science with Reed at age 4 or 5, I swear.
Yeah, but I guess the implication is that so was Reed. That's basically how Reed developed too. There actually is and you actually get that in the Ultimate version where you show Reed's birth and you see him reaching out for his mother's hair and that he could analyze it on a deeper, more profound level. Now, with regard to it's actually interesting when you read the Marvel Universe entry on a character like Forge, where it says that he does not have a superior intellect or a superior inventiveness to Tony Stark or Reed Richards, but that his powers allow him to essentially skip steps in developing designs.
Yeah,
that he just sort of appear in his head.
Yeah, basically just I need this machine, then he puts it together. Yeah.
Yeah, then it the idea of how it would fit together comes into his mind. So that's what makes it his superpower. Now, when you get into characters like the leader, where he has that super intellect because of the mutations in his brain. But even then, it's not so much that he is smarter than what a normal human being could be. It's just that his mutant power worked out in this way, or his mutation caused his brain to grow, and that's what gave him these superpowers, the gamma rays, So, yeah. But no, Valeria's not a mutant. She's not classified as a mutant because her powers are derived or are bound by the same rules of, brain power that everyone else's are. Now, interestingly enough, Amadeus Cho's brain power seems to burn a lot of energy, suggesting he actually might be a mutant. Because there's a whole thing about, like, if you remember back in the day, if he didn't, like, eat a lot of chocolate, he would get dumb.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In fact, in The Incredible Hercules, like, the girl that's trying to seduce him kind of, like, uses that to his disadvantage, where she's not feeding him, just sort of manipulating him so that he gets just dumb enough to do what she says, but smart enough to still solve the problem she needs. So.
I thought that was like puberty, just like, I need to eat.
Well, but they may not do it. Now he's got gamma powers. Maybe that juices up his intellect now because of the gamma gives him those powers. But yeah, that's the thing, is that there are differences on how these things get looked at. So yeah, so Valeria is not a mutant. It will be interesting if they have, like they had her do in when they first brought her into the books when she was the adult, if they actually have her get involved in magic. She becomes the science magic person someday. That's the hope.
All right, before we get out of here, Lilith Hellfire, do you have any books you want to throw out?
You don't need all of them from DC.
Well, they are, so suck it. No, I'm kidding. It's just one I want to talk about from DC. It's Amethyst #1.
Oh,
it's one. She was reintroduced in Young Justice. It's a miniseries. It's by Amy Reeder. It's about Gem World, so it's pretty cool. Might be cool. It's very like, I don't mean this in a bad way. Very My Little Pony, like, the latest gen. And it's fun, and like the artwork is really cute, and it's not out there, so I appreciate it.
It looked good because I saw a lot of advertisements for it.
Yeah, they had a couple preview pages.
Yeah, so good for Amethyst. Although now when I see Amethyst, I think, oh, it's Steven Universe, but no, different Amethyst.
Oh, speaking of that tangentially, like from Wonder Comics, Lilith, did you read Action Comics 1020?
No.
Well, Young Justice shows up in that, so yeah, because of course it's written by Bendis, and we know how he likes to put his characters in books so they make money, Lilith. But yeah, no, it was interesting. Yeah, because like they were helping Superman until the Justice League got there, because Lex and Leviathan and all the villains are teaming up. But I don't know. Again, continuities and stuff. It's like no one remembers Connor Kent Superboy, so like Lex and all the villains are like, oh, there's only one Superman. But when Connor shows up, they're like, I think Grodd or someone's like, you thought you said his kid was off planet, and they're like, he is. I don't know who this other super child is.
Remember Connor Kent.
Continuities. Because that's the whole thing in Young Justice they've been dealing with. It's like it's kind of like they remember being they're getting memories back of being a team, but the rest of the world forgot. Thank you, Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, okay. And isn't Dr. Manhattan Wally West now?
Yeah, well, he's sitting in the Mobius chair now, which was powered up by it has some of Dr. Manhattan's power in it. Yeah, I think we're gonna get more of that in Flash 750. I think it's this week.
Sounds good.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Anyways.
Charlie's yawning. You better wrap it up.
Oh, that's right. We got another show to do.
Yeah, that's okay.
I got to get up at the butt crack of dawn. Anyway. All right. So send us your thoughts on who.
God, Philip.
What?
You got
that fancy man cave doesn't pay for itself, Lilith.
Especially when you do
But holidays were like my thing. Now I don't work Saturdays and Philip does.
Like, right now it's just every other Saturday in February and March. So hopefully this trend does not continue. Anyway, send us your thoughts. Who should be the MCU Wolverine? What are they doing? Send us your thoughts on comics, TV, movies. Hey, did you like episode 6 of Picard? Send me your thoughts. Riker's coming next week. We're getting Riker. So send your thoughts. capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Follow us all on social media, all of the shows, all in one convenient place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And support the sponsors. Tweaked Audio, Hunt a Killer, Pod Life the book, now in digital and paperback. And when you do that, as Charlie Esser suggested, use the Southgate Media Group link. Scroll right down into the notes on this episode. You'll find that link. Use that and send some shekels to Mr. Rob Master Doom Southgate, who's probably in the thick of C2E2 right now. Help him and us bring you such fine quality products as the Capes and Lunatics podcast. Lilith Hellfire, where can people get a hold of you?
Dear DC on my social medias. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at Lil, Instagram at 69. Party in the front and the back.
Charlie Esser.
Well, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way our mothers and fathers once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet things occasionally, like political debates for reasons, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when it comes back. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEssessr. Look for the 2 E's.
For quality.
Bing!
And there you
It's going to be a connectivity on show. Anyway, thank you for joining us once again. Getting ever closer to that big episode 150. But for another week, we have been your Capes.
ampersand.
Lunatics.
There we go.
Yes. I was about to shoot some armadillos.
Yeah. Darn those armadillos.
Darn your armadillos. Come on.
Because someone couldn't use the rhino for a comic book issue.
Is it the armadillos or is it Little Hellfire's Lenten? Little Hellfire's.
I'm actually still sober. I'm trying to push it to St. Patty's Day.
Yes. Keep pushing, Lilith. Keep pushing.